Good morning, students. So, today I am going to introduce the second chapter of physics, that is force and laws of motion. Force is a term that all of you are aware of, that is what you have read in your earlier classes as well. Force is defined as a push or pull. That is what we do, what we normally write as definition of force. Force is a push or a pull acting on an object. Push means you are applying the force away from your body, and pull when you are applying the force towards your body. In this class, we will extend the definition a little bit by saying force is an external effort in form of push or pull which changes or tries to change the state of an object. From the state of an object, we can mean state of rest, state of motion, direction, or even shape and size of the object. Okay, so when we apply force on the object, there can be various effects. An external effort which may move the body at a rest, stop a moving body, change the speed or change the direction, or even shape and size. These are all effects of force. Okay, like if we apply force, we can change the state of motion. When we say state, that means state of rest and state of motion both. If an object, a ball, is at rest, if you apply force, you kick it will come in state of motion. So applying the force has changed the state of rest. If you're riding a bicycle, you apply brakes, what will happen? Bicycle will come to rest. So applying the force, you have changed the state of rest, state of motion to state of rest. Force can change the direction of moving body. When you are playing cricket match, if you hit a ball with a bat, you can change the direction, change the shape and size. Elastic bands, rubber bands, springs, you can stretch them, compress them, can change their shape and size. So the first effect is that it can stop a moving object or make resting object in motion. It can change the speed, means it can increase or decrease the speed of the object. How? Suppose if an object was going in this direction, I applied force in the same direction, so the speed of the object will naturally increase. If the object was going in this direction and I applied force from the opposite direction, in that case the speed of the object will decrease. That is, if you are applying the force in the same direction in which the object is moving, its speed will increase, and if we apply force from the opposite direction, its speed will decrease. Like we say the frictional force, air resistance, these are the opposing forces which result in decrease of the speed of object. A rolling ball comes to stop after some time because of the opposing force. Which one? Gravitational force. Then we have frictional force, then we have air resistance. These are opposing forces which decrease the speed of the object. Force can change the shape of the object. We can compress the sponge or a rubber band or a spring. You stretch it, compress it, its shape will change. Dough, you're making chapati out of dough, that is again changing the shape with help of a force. Force can even change the direction of moving body, as I already told you. The next thing we will be discussing is balanced and unbalanced forces. Balanced, as you can make out from the name, the forces are balanced, means the net effect of the force on the object is zero. Unbalanced, when the forces are not equal. What do we mean by that? Suppose I take a block, I apply a force F1 left to right, I apply a force F2 right to left. Then when the forces act in different direction, when forces act in different direction, then net force is the difference of the forces, and when they act in same direction, then net force is the sum of two. Means if I am applying force on block, both the forces are acting in the same direction, net force will be the sum. If they are acting in different direction, net force will be the difference. When do we say that the forces are balanced? If there are more than one force, 2, 3 or 4 forces acting on object, but these forces are equal, then what will happen? F1 and F2 both are equal, so net force will be 0. That means we are applying the forces on the object, but there is no change in the state of object. The state is remaining the same. If it is at rest, will remain at rest. If it is in motion, its speed is not increasing or decreasing. In that case, the forces are called balanced. Does that mean that balanced force produce no effect on the object? Okay, you think over the answer. Do balanced forces do not produce any change on the object? And tell me the answer for this. Okay, if we talk about unbalanced forces, here if I say the forces are not equal, suppose F1 was greater than F2, then what will happen? The object will move in the direction of the greater force, and net force will be the difference of two forces. Okay, if force F1 is acting from left to right, the object will start moving in the direction of F1, and net force will be the difference of two. This is the condition of unbalanced forces. So unbalanced forces can change the state of rest. It can even increase or decrease the speed of an object. This observation was first given by Galileo, who rolled down a ball from inclined plane, and he came to the conclusion that unbalanced force is required only to bring an object to motion or to stop a moving object. But when an object is in state of uniform motion means the speed is neither increasing nor decreasing. In that case, the forces acting on the object are balanced. What am I saying? That unbalanced force is required for what? To bring object to motion or to stop moving object. But when an object is in case of a uniform motion, that is, speed is neither increasing nor decreasing, in that case the forces are balanced. ठीक है? In that case the forces are balanced, means to maintain the motion of an object we don't require any force. Like I give an example, if you have to start riding a bicycle, you have to apply a force which should be greater than the force of friction between the bicycle and the ground. But once it comes in motion, then you need to paddle it with a constant velocity, with a constant effort, because at that case the object is in balanced state, because the speed is neither increasing nor decreasing. If I start paddling it hard, in that case the forces are unbalanced and the speed will increase. If I apply the brakes, again the forces are unbalanced and the speed will decrease. And when again it comes to rest, in that case also the forces were unbalanced, because my applied force was greater than the force which was moving the bicycle. So unbalanced force is required only to change the state, but to maintain the state, to maintain the uniform motion, the forces acting are always balanced. Newton carried Galileo's idea further and he introduced 3 laws of motion. First law of motion states that an object at rest will remain at rest. Object in motion remains in motion with the same speed and direction until and unless we apply an unbalanced force. That is very much true. An object cannot change its state by its own. If an object is at rest, will remain at rest. Object is in motion, will remain in motion. Object going in particular direction will remain in that direction only until unless we apply a force from outside. Okay, so this is stated by first law. First law of motion states an object cannot change its state by its own until unless we apply a force from outside. Now, this property of an object, that it cannot change its state by its own, this property was named inertia. Now, since the first law defines inertia, that is why it is also called the law of inertia. So inertia is the inability, it is the property of a body, it is the inability of a body that it cannot change its state by its own. This property of the body was termed inertia. Inertia further has 3 types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. And inertia depends on mass of the object. Greater the mass, greater the inertia. If suppose you have an empty box and you have to apply a force on it to move it, your applied force should be greater than the force of friction between that block and the ground. If this was force of friction, your applied force should be greater than force of friction, right? But if I say that this box is now full of books, naturally you'll have to apply a greater force because it is having a greater inertia of rest because of the greater mass. Okay, that would be all for today. Next time I'm going to discuss about 3 types of inertia and their practical applications. Thank you so much.